Good night, everyone. Let me know if you are seeing me clearly. Let me know if you're hearing me clearly. If you're seeing and hearing me clearly, welcome to another episode of Extra Class, episode number 166. Let me apologize for starting a bit late. My sincere apologies. I've been having some technical issues, plus I'm tired. This week has been a crazy week. Persons would probably be thinking about teach. I mean, school soon get holiday. Should I exam time now? Well, exam haven't started as yet, and school not get holiday as yet. This is probably the roughest week I've had at work for a long time. Every single day was something else. You realize I only uploaded twice this week. That is how rough it has been. Right now, I'm burn up again in the sun because I led a social studies field trip for the department today because they were doing something geographical. You know, I think some of them are tired peeps. Wake up like not so long ago and thing. But we're there. Saying big up to the persons who have been here from early, being patient. Really and truly appreciate the patience and the continued support for the persons who have been interacting in the comment section and holding down the fort. We appreciate that. And that's what I say, peace, big up on yourself. I just thought everybody has been having a wonderful week. Zane and ready for listen to teacher talk about some things we have to jam down. Jamrock. Jamaica land we love. Land of Food and Water, Bob Marley, Usain Bolt, Vibes Cartel, Buju Banton, Shelly and Fraser Price, Elaine Thompson, the Reggae Girls, and some more people. You know what I think? Juliet Cuthbert and Portia Simpson Milan and the rest of them. You understand what I say? Yes, Jamila, I did use the sunscreen like a million times today and it don't make no difference. Well, it probably make a difference, but I'm still burn up. So calm down, Miss Seymour, okay? Peeps. I could start or something, because we're done late already, you know. You know what I mean? So, as Kalanji said, there's no time to waste. You understand? This gentleman behind me, the good Dr. Christopher Tufton, we're seeing a situation where the Minister of Health has ordered a probe into the handling of alleged rape victims at hospitals. So, the Ministry of Health and Wellness says it has launched a probe into an incident involving a mother and her two daughters, who were reportedly turned away from one hospital and denied attention for several hours at another when they went for a rape kit examination. Here, so apparently the mother and her two daughters were allegedly raped. I don't know if all three of them, but I know that the mother had taken two of her children, two daughters, to get the rape kit exam. Minister of Health, Christopher says he has convened a panel including representatives from the leadership of the Southeast Regional Health Authority and Southern Regional Health Authority to review the incident. So the review is to determine what breaches took place and what action is to be taken. So media reports suggest that the mother of her and her two daughters were each raped. The mother and her two daughters. I never did don't read the article. Come to go sleep. The mother and her two daughters were each raped by gunmen who broke into their house in late May. Reports are that the females were first escorted to the Mapping Hospital, then sent back to Spanish Town Hospital, and made to wait several hours before help came. Trivia and Spike, blessings for the contribution earlier, bro. Really and truly appreciate that. Can you imagine the trauma? See, and for the persons who are saying hi in the comments, good night. You know, I'll do the shout outs at the end of the stream later. You know what I think. Can you imagine the trauma that these three ladies would have gone through, and then you turn up at an hospital, you are sent to another hospital, and the second hospital that you are sent to, you are made to wait for hours before being attended to. I sincerely hope that this is a one-off situation, if it is correct to begin with. And I sincerely hope that the Minister and the Ministry of Health will put the necessary steps in place, programs and procedures and policies in place to address situations of this nature in the future. Damien White, big up yourself, bro. Really and truly appreciate the support. Blessings. You see me? So, boy, I'm gonna know that it be terrible in all honesty. Kanaika. You know what? You know. That's what you see in Jamaica. The sad reality is that it's always better to go private than public in terms of the health system in Jamaica. Yeah, that is the reality. It's just that it's expensive and it is not affordable for everybody. But if the sacrifices can be made and the resources are there, it's really and truly always better to go private than public. That is a thing that I would have stated in my head as far back as I can remember, because the whole public hospital and public medical system in Jamaica is just whack, really and truly. And when I say there is no good existing with the health system in Jamaica, and I'm just saying that the reality is that there's a lot left to be desired, man, and we need to sort out ourselves. See? We keep on banding about that we need to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, do business, and raise children by 2030. Like, there's so many issues that we need to contend with, that we have to contend with, that we must treat with, that right now we almost visionless, but we are looking for vision 2030. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know. See, in wildlife machine, I say no country can't run properly without putting kids and the elderly first. Boy, brother, things set away. Things set away, fam. You see me? Jamaica to rotted, eh? Jamaica to rotted. So, you know, peeps, there has been a situation where there has been some disquiet within the ranks of the Jamaica Constabulary Force in regards to bulletproof vests, the lack of bulletproof vests, if you understand me. Yeah, that me I said the Andre Jamaica Terrated, brother. And big up yourself, you see me? The police have, so, cops on edge over shortage of bulletproof vests. No. Jamaica Terrated. Can you imagine being a police officer? In Jamaica, where police officers in recent times have been outgunned and come out on the losing side of shootouts because the weaponry that is being sported by criminal elements are far more powerful than what the police have at their disposal or had at their disposal at those points in time. Because we know the police have firepower. It's just that police don't really walk up and down with M16 every day. Every police officer, you understand? See, can you imagine a country where criminals are no longer fearful of the police? Criminals have become brazen and emboldened, and you as a police officer cannot get a ballistic vest to adorn when you are going out on the street to serve and protect Jamaica land we love. The police have stepped up their drive to flood streets across the country with more members as they seek to break the back of the crime monster. I mean, I'm not easy with that, yeah? But questions about the level of resources of officers, or the level of resources the officers are given to carry out the task that involves risking lives and limbs, are again being raised. Concerns have emerged amid a probe that revealed that many of the island's security officers are still being sent to take up duties without proper protection in the form of bulletproof vests. The probe has revealed that hundreds of police officers, many of them just leaving training school, are being sent on the roads daily to serve without the proper protective gear especially bulletproof vests. So high-level sources said many Jamaica Constabulary Force members have been even working in areas where zones of special operations or state of public emergencies have been imposed without being equipped with bulletproof vests. Miss Pearlie Simpson say I look at it, but so adjust that mommy. Zane, because roads important, you know, but other things important. We get to that. So members of the police high command, when questioned on the matter, said major steps are being taken to address the concerns that have placed a number of JCF members on edge, especially with criminals in several quarters becoming far more brazen of late, as they seek to unleash hellish-like terror on some communities across Jamaica. Contacts made with senior members of the JCF confirmed that the reports about the shortage of vests is not only true, but also a major area of concern among police personnel. Yes, we have raised the concerns, and the Police Federation has been advocating for these matters. Shortage of vests included to be addressed, said Arlene McBean, the former chairman of the Police Federation. Now, Parro, which is the current chairman who became president about 2 weeks ago, also spoke on the issue, saying it is something that he and members of his team have been advocating for. He said he was assured that the matter was being dealt with urgently. You know, urgency in Jamaica is like molasses on a cold winter's night. Slow, like a peak hour traffic. You know what I mean? He also revealed that coming out of those ongoing discussions, he was informed that up to last week, a number of vests that were ordered by the JCF arrived in the island, and promises were made that more are to come. But despite these assurances, reports are emerging that many members of the force are not satisfied with the pace at which the matter is being dealt with. You understand? Me say if you don't understand. Huh? Miss Pearlie Simpson said they're only interested in building roads. I don't know that they're only interested in building roads, in all honesty, Miss Pearlie Simpson. I understand the sentiments. Zane, I think other things are being done, but I don't know that the energies and resources are being channeled in the areas that they are most needed at this point in time. You understand? I don't know that the vision encompasses the most important facets of the crime and violence fight at this time. So, boy, I don't know. I hope say there is no situation that will result in a police officer losing his or her life in the fight against crime because that officer was not wearing a bulletproof vest. Zane? And let me say more. I am trying to say that, like, I kind of lose my thoughts just now, that it should not be a case where an officer is without a vest because they weren't issued a vest. If an officer is issued a vest and them don't wear it, then that is a next story for your next time. You understand what I say? I'd like Campbell. Blessings, my friend. It's the first time I'm seeing the name. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Really and truly appreciate the support. Really and truly appreciate the contribution. Zane, Mike Johnson said we can. That money from Petrojam. Brother, I talk about that, you know. I talk about it later because more money involved in the whole. Boy, I don't know. It is difficult enough trying to police in Jamaica as is. You understand? And to add to that, there's no bulletproof vest. There is no patrol vehicle sometimes. And as one minister crash one SUV, them get a next one. Zane, I have seen in recent times where 2 ministers of the cabinet would have had their SUVs overturned, and I'm sure the next day they were driving and they were in a new Parro. You understand what I say? So where is the vision? what is the mission? You understand? And whose decision is it to continue along this path where we just not gonna away? It's like we are run on the spot family. See? Boy, be the door. Two cops implicated in the death squad has been freed of murder. Now, I'll say this already. I've said this already, and I'll say it again. The only member of the so-called or alleged Clarendon death squad that will be convicted is Constable Collis Chucky Brown. I will go on record as suggesting that I do not think there will be another conviction of anybody else who was allegedly affiliated or party or parties or who participated in the whole death squad situation in Clarendon. Reason being because Chucky Brown basically convicted himself. Nobody else out of the 16 persons who were a part of the squad, according to Chucky Brown, has given evidence in any way, shape, or form to implicate themselves. He was the only one who sat down with Indicom and was recorded and who signed transcripts of 1 million paid saying he was a part of the death squad. None of the other police officers who would have been implicated have been convicted. And so far, about 10 of them have been acquitted. So, Chucky Brown good as a fraud. I don't know. 2 members of the police force who were before the court were freed of a murder charge in the Supreme Court. You understand what I say? Boy. So, Detective Corporal Kevin Adams and Constable Jerome White were on trial for the 2012 killing of Anthony Toby Charth in Racecourse, Clarendon. The lawmen were accused of being a part of the Clarendon-based death squad. So following 2 days of summation by presiding judge, Justice Marcia Dunbar Green, the 7-member jury was sent to deliberate. After 45 minutes, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty. The prosecution, led by Queen's Counsel Caroline A., alleged that Toby was murdered by the lawmen. Not even a Queen's Counsel can get them a money a conviction because there is no solid evidence to convict them. You understand? Chucky Brown sit down and sing like a preacher. So that is why he has been convicted. And I forgot to spend about 90 years. This is the second so-called death squad trial where Detective Corporal Adams have been found not guilty. So this man, hold on, before we go there, sir. However, the defense, led by none other than Queen's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson and Kenneth Churchill Nita, Zane, argued that the lawmen acted in self-defense. And as I said, this now is the second death squad trial where Adams has been found not guilty. Remember, Chucky Brown was found not guilty in a previous trial before he was then found guilty. However, the lawman still has 2 matters pending in the Supreme Court. So despite the fact that he has been acquitted twice, he still have 2 more cases in front of the Supreme Court. Boy, I mean, I tell you, in kind of prediction kind of dicey, you know, cause, but me still I say, me don't see no member of the alleged death squad being convicted other than Collis Chucky Brown. So Constable Collis Chucky Brown is the most high profile conviction that the Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, has secured in the so-called Clarendon-based death squad trials. And Constable Brown was sentenced to life in prison in January for carrying out orders of his superiors, if he is to be believed. Who were the superiors? How come no superior had been arrested, questioned, charged, tried, convicted, sentenced. It's always the smallest man on the chain get the blame. You know what I mean? So two more death squad officers, alleged death squad officers, found not guilty. You understand what I say? So, boy, things set away family. We don't know how Chucky gonna feel when he made them thing you know still. So peeps, back to that couple here. Nice looking couple like look, you know what I mean? We know that this man who is a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, um, Lawrence brother would have been arrested and charged for the murder of his wife, 45-year-old Janet Hardy Lawrence, in their upscale Jamaica Beach, Tower Isle, St. Mary Hotel, not hotel, a home. But here we going on now, peeps. Wife allegedly killed by a policeman husband was shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times this police officer shot his wife in her head. Cookie Mama said Chucky should have kept his secret a secret. I don't know why I still get some nice over my head tonight and everything did alright. Sunday. Zane probably do something, move something. But I don't know. You understand? My face look clean and nice despite sun burn me up today. So you gotta see that Sunday. The policeman who has been charged with murdering his wife during a dispute at their home in Tower Isles, St. Mary last month was denied bail when he appeared in the St. Mary Parish Court yesterday, Thursday. The accused, Detective Corporal Kirk Lawrence, was charged just over a week ago with murder in connection with the shooting death of his 45-year-old wife, Janet Hardy Lawrence. Prosecutors and attorneys from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, objected to bail for the accused based on the policeman's potential flight risk. In denying bail, the presiding judge took into account that Hardy Lawrence was unharmed, and when she was unarmed and was shot multiple times, including 6 times to the head according to a post-mortem report. The presiding judge ordered the police officer remanded and set a mention date of Thursday, July 11. So police reported that on Tuesday, May 28. You understand what I say? Like, why? We don't know. See, so as I say now, police reports are that on May 28 at about 6:30 a.m., Lawrence and his wife, who was a businesswoman, were engaged in an argument at their house. Zane, residents reported heard loud explosions and alerted the police. And on the arrival of the police, the accused officer, who is assigned to the Trelawney Police Division, was found by his fellow law enforcers at the main entrance to the house. Apparently, he was probably attempting to leave. You understand? And thing. Hardy Lawrence was found with several gunshot wounds and was pronounced dead at the hospital. According to Indicom, which probed the case, the police found 2 guns, a service pistol, and a licensed firearm, which were both connected to the accused policeman, along with 12 spent shells on the scene. So he fired 12 rounds. 6 of them landed in his wife's head. Where the other 6 hit, we're not sure. The detective corporal was reportedly questioned in the presence of his attorney, and a file subsequently sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions, who ruled that he should be charged with murder. See? And thing. So, boy, I don't know still. A man can look on his wife like that. And guys, me I go say this. I say this already, me I say it again. See? You have some women out there who really and truly make it difficult for a man to maintain them sanity sometimes. See? This is terrible. See, for a man to maintain sanity from time to time. You have some females out there who are very, them press you, and push your buttons them. You understand? But me can't see why a man have a need to shoot him wife in her head 6 times. Out of 12 rounds. From a firearm. You understand? Considering that she was unharmed and probably wasn't a physical threat to him in no way, shape, or form. But who feels it knows, I suppose. Them see the glamour and the glitter, so them think a better rose. You know what I mean? Set away, sir. Understand? Jamaican fishermen allegedly abused by US Coast Guard. Me have a look at thing to say about that situation before I go too deep in it. And it will not be a very popular statement. And some persons may get upset. Zane? Because we hear people are ban around word like slavery, modern day slavery, and all sort of things. I never said this, Zane. Just a minute, please. I'm going to check a look at thing here, so. Eli Kelly, brother. I know you're a very intelligent man, and brother. So I know you come to that conclusion. They say me I blame the victim. I ain't blaming the victim here. I would have never do that. Like, me not blame nobody. I'm just saying the reality. I said that even though you have some females who push men over the edge, and that's a fact. That's a fact of life. I am saying I cannot see why a man would resort to shooting his wife 6 times in the head. That is what I said. So I'm gonna know how you get me blaming the victim here, so bro. So that was not my intention. And if the statement came across like that, it was definitely not my intention. So I guess it's a matter of interpretation. My grandmother used to say, so picking up on the Coast Guard story, my grandmother normally said, if you don't go fall rules, fall can't really mess upon you like. And that is a true statement. No, before I am misunderstood, because I am normally easily misunderstood. You know. Before I am misunderstood, let me hasten to say that if these men were indeed held with drugs, Zine, and they were trading drugs and possibly trading drugs or guns and all of them something there, then me personally don't necessarily I go get up and sing no chorus beating anybody for them. That is just my own viewpoint on the matter. No, mark you. If these men are actually innocent of the charges being laid against them and were treated in the manner in which they are suggesting they were treated, then something needs to be done. I hope that makes sense. I hope I come across with clarity just now. 4 Jamaican fishermen were detained for nearly a month aboard a US Coast Guard vessel in the Caribbean. Zine? Well, it's not just one boat. It was a number of boats because they were transferred from boat to boat. Based on what I hear. Spending much of their time chained to the deck in the blistering sun while their families believe they were dead, according to a lawsuit filed on Wednesday. The Coast Guard said officers interdicting the vessel on September the 14th, 2017 saw the crew toss packages of marijuana into the water and they recovered about 600 pounds. The American Civil Liberties Union said the men had inadequate bedding, were given rancid food and deprived of water. Now, if that is the case, that is inhumane. Like, you can't go around that. However, alright, they were also not allowed to wash off the salt and grime from their skin and receive little to no medical treatment for their injuries. According to the lawsuit, which seeks damages on behalf of the men through maritime law. There are no human rights out there. Luther Fian Patterson, one of the fishermen, said in a statement, "They treat you like animals. You are like an animal, chained to the deck on your foot." The crew of the 32-foot fishing vessel Josette was caught up in an effort by the US to interdict drugs at sea. The Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act of 1986 made smuggling in international waters a crime against the US. So anyone caught moving drugs on the water could be prosecuted even if those drugs were not bound for the US. And the Coast Guard is the agency tasked with hunting down potential smugglers, arresting them and bringing them to the US for prosecution. The lawsuit, however, said there were no drugs found on the crew and none aboard when the Coast Guard searched the vessel. Interesting statement. It said, "I do not know that a lawyer would say that there were drugs found on the boat though. But never mind." It said the men planned to line fish for tuna and snapper and had set fishing traps in Morant Key, about 8 hours from Falmouth, Jamaica, a popular fishing spot. An unexpected storm blew up and their power went out and they got lost and started navigating towards land, not realizing it was Haiti, the lawsuit said. After detaining the fishermen, the Coast Guard said it sought permission from Jamaica to prosecute them in the US. When Jamaica complied, they set out to the US. The men were transferred several times to other vessels, in part because Hurricane Maria started to strike and the Coast Guard was responding to the disaster, according to the Coast Guard Lieutenant Scott McBride, the Chief Media Relations Officer for, they could not transfer the men ashore in Puerto Rico, seeing a closer destination because the island had been devastated by the hurricane. The Coast Guard complies with both international and US domestic laws and work closely with our Department of Justice and Department of State colleagues to ensure compliance, McBride said in a statement. All suspects are cared for humanely while preserving the security of both the crew and the suspects. The men claim the Coast Guard burned their boat, made them strip, and refused to allow them to make a phone call to their family until they landed in Miami in mid-October. The men were ultimately not charged with drug crimes, but were accused of making false statements to prosecutors about the destination of their boat. In the lawsuit, the men said they pleaded guilty because their lawyers advised it. They served about 10 months and then were deported back to Jamaica. Why would you plead guilty if you're not guilty? You understand what I say? No lawyer upon the face of the earth can tell me if I plead guilty if me innocent. Me innocent. So what you need me if I plead guilty? This story has so many twists and turns. Me catch seasickness look a while. But I mean, I say I look at thing go on a parliament today where there was a shouting match because the opposition is accusing the government of selling out innocence because they would have given the go-ahead for the men to be taken to the US for prosecution. So, make we see how it go. If these men story checks out and they are telling the truth, I hope that they are rewarded. But I'm not sure still. I'm not sure. I don't want sure. Yeah. So like over there for America, so I could just finish up with America now. Uncle Sam, the land of the free and home of the slave, the home of the brave, I mean. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. And them something there. So, Jamaicans have been extradited and tried and convicted and sentenced in droves for illegal wire transfer and wire fraud, as them call it. We call it lottery scamming. Now we're seeing a situation where an American has allegedly scammed Jamaicans with promises of green cards. I suppose the shoes is on the other foot now. I don't know. Yeah, son. An American man who lives in New York is being accused of defrauding undocumented immigrants from Jamaica and St. Kitts under the pretense that he could get them United States green cards and work permits. The man, identified as 55-year-old James Archibald, I wonder if him originator yard there, allegedly collected some US $8,520 from the undocumented immigrants, and when the promises he made were not fulfilled and the clients requested a refund, he reportedly threatened to report them to the immigration authorities. The watcher say him not have nothing against a weed man still. Alright, the watcher, me I go address that. Me not have nothing against a weed man. We are plant some weed and I try to ensure say him family him a feed. See it? But when them man they know, other than just planting the weed, start to add seeds of discontent and violence in this country, then me have a thing against him. When said weed farmer, weed trader, weed hustler start to use the proceeds of said weed to purchase guns, causing his brother's blood to run, then him need for God down. There's something there. You understand what I say? And that is the reality that we face. Because many of these weed farmers now are now trading weed for guns. You understand? And guns not build houses and cook food and them something. We know what guns do. So me personally, it kind of sound like me I contradict myself. But I've said this before. If I'm gonna grow some weed, Zane, the watcher say, anyway, you look on it and family him a feed. Yeah, but if I'm gonna feed him family and Jamaica go bleed for that, then him fi go away. I just my way of looking at it still. Zane, most weed man not on gun thing still, but then so how the gun for drugs trade exists then, bro? How come we have a situation where drugs are being traded for guns? Like that must come from somewhere. So, and in many instances, weed is the drugs. Yes, we know say cocaine and other things involved, but then as me I say, if a man go farm some weed to feed him family by selling the weed and feeding him family with the money we him receive, then me not have a issue with a man a plant him weed. But when a man go plant him weed, sell him weed, or trade him weed for guns, or use the money from the weed to buy guns, then him not feed him family. Him a feed lawlessness in the country. And bro, I just, as me I say, me see the angle where I come from, but me I divert from the angle there, because at the end of the day, if a man are killing Jamaican brothers and sisters, then it no matter where I'm up to for me, I kill him, I killing Jamaican brothers and sisters. Yes, the middleman do that. Well, as somewhere in the weed trade, it a go on, so then we can't support it. You understand what I say? So that's the thing there. From wrongs in a thing, you kill your brothers and sisters, then I just that's the thing there. But you know one thing, we can debate that for you all night, I suppose. See it? So this man I know decides I'm gonna scam some yard man. Miss Millicent Thomas McDermott, you best believe that weed is involved, Empress. You best believe that weed is involved. You understand? Take it from me. So, Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez on Wednesday, June 12, announced that Archibald has been charged with grand larceny, scheme to defraud, immigration assistance services fraud, and related charges for allegedly stealing the money from 3 undocumented immigrants who hired him to process work permits and green card applications with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. This man work with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Yeah? Me just ask. I don't know. So how come, boy, I tell you, this defendant is accused of preying on some of the most vulnerable members of our society who were victimized as they attempted to comply with federal laws. Archibald, a resident of Canarsie, Brooklyn, New York, was arraigned before Brooklyn Criminal Court Judge Joseph McCormack on a 10-count criminal complaint in which he is charged with third-degree grand larceny, fourth-degree grand larceny, first-degree scheme to defraud, first-degree immigration assistance services fraud, and fifth-degree criminal possession of stolen property. He was released without bail and ordered to return to court on August 8, 2019. He faces up to 7 years in prison if convicted. See? So you know, the long and short of the story is that the allegations are that between October 2016 and 2018, the defendant, who was the owner of a company called the U.S. Caribbean and Asian Development Organization, first thing company name too long, received the money from the 3 undocumented immigrants who paid him to process and expedite work permit and green card applications on their behalf. The victims reportedly met the defendant through mutual acquaintances. After making the payments, the victims reportedly repeatedly contacted the defendant, but he failed to provide the services and they attempted to get a refund. It is alleged that the defendant told the victims that if they persisted in pursuing refunds, he would report them to immigrations. He also allegedly failed to return the passport of 2 victims. This man is a madman. This man knows the people dead for less than that. You understand what I say? He is a brave man too. So after you take people them money, that's not true, teach. It's a plain US scammer. What you mean not true? Say him probably if he come from Jamaica. No, me just say I mess around and I never serious when me say that. Me don't know him come from. You understand what I say? So clarify that for me for now. I'm not sure exactly where you tackle me upon. So make me know, like, so I can defend myself. Zin? So the investigation began in January of 2019 after 2 of the victims filed complaints against Archibald with the district attorney's action center, which put them in contact with the district attorney's immigrant affairs unit. Zin? Auntie. Boy, I mean, know. You see, desperation is a hell of a thing, you know. Make you do some things more time out of character where you would never do under normal circumstances. You see me? I mean, know. Let me say you go still. See? Some people are rejoicing and saying, it's only fair. You understand? Jamaicans are scam Americans here. So then some people are saying, I tell what people are saying, and I don't want to tell nobody say I say that. You know. See? Alright, the watcher. The ordinary man is a different thing. But you see, whenever they talk about the ordinary man, I know still that's the reality of the watcher. But we get what you say still. You understand? Get what you say. This man take the people their money. Then the people them not get what them pay for. Then the people them say them want back them money. This man has said not get back no money. Right now his report me I go report to them. You understand if no things saying? Now I tackle your Bridget. I was referred to. He worked at the immigration service. Okay, brother, that's your word. Zane, the Bernie mother of empire, the biggest scammers, pyramid scheme. True that. So I can move on now, peeps, because night are coming now, you know see. 4 murder accused freed in Trelawney. You know why? Witnesses failed to appear. And that is a dicey situation, you know, because Romero said it's fair. See? 4 men who were accused of the 2012 murder of Donovan Hazley in Marthabrae, Trelawney were freed in the Trelawney Circuit Court last week. The 4, Nigel Brown, Kenton Mowat, Dalton Johnson, and Shane Thompson, were set free after witnesses in the matter failed to come forward. Zane, thanks, Dennis Cummings. Really and truly appreciate the kind word and the support, my friend. Zane, If you're here for the first time, welcome as well. Hazley's daughter, who was 18 years old at the time, was also injured in the deadly attack. The attack was speculated to have been in reprisal for the death of two boys from the same community, whose decomposing bodies were discovered in the nearby Martabury River the previous week after they went missing for 5 days. So the four men were subsequently arrested and charged in relation to the killing. But nobody no come forward, so the courts cannot proceed. But some people are going to blame the court and say the court this and the court that. The court cannot make any progress without witness, without evidence. And I understand say persons might have been spoken to, persons might have been threatened. I do not know. Persons might decide, so I don't know. Zane? Upshot 4-5. No man, me nah do that, family. That was not what I was doing, and I said the one them where I buy a gun to make Jamaicans blood run, then for go. You understand? A man where I grow some weed for sending me out them go to school. You understand me? I say, nah kill nobody, we not pressure. You see me? Nothing wrong with that something. I just saw it thing go, but big up yourself 45. You see? Intimidation, boy, I don't know still. I know. I don't know, Rasta. I don't know. you see, I understand a situation where a man, I think, preservation of life, and I wonder if it is worth it in him doing certain things in this country. Zane. But the reality is that if we sit down and situations like these continue to arise, then somehow, somewhere along the way, it will become the norm and man will feel like them can do anything and get away with it because nobody not willing to go to court or stand up. No. It is always a risk. The possibility that persons may lose their lives is always a real and true danger because the protection that should be afforded to people like those is not necessarily always there. And not only that, if a man loses life in a situation like that, providing evidence in a trial, then what assurance are there that justice will be served? So you basically probably lose your life in vain, really, because then you dead, not come out of your death neither. You understand what I say? So peeps, remember that sad story where about 25 persons, mostly schools, children from the Port Antonio and Titchfield High Schools in Portland were injured, and a member of the Titchfield High School family was killed. The bus driver and the conductor were also injured in said accident. There has been some development. So the bus driver has been offered bail. So the driver of the ill-fated minibus, which went over a precipice in the St. Margaret's Bay area of Portland on May 20, claiming the life of a teenager, has been offered bail. So O'Shane McPherson, 23 years old, was offered bail in the sum of $300,000 when he appeared in the Port Antonio Resident Magistrates Court yesterday. So that would then be Thursday, with two sureties. McPherson is charged with causing death by dangerous driving, transporting excess passengers, and driving without insurance. In court, it was revealed that about 2 weeks before the fatal accident, McPherson was prosecuted by the Portland police for transporting 27 passengers aboard a minibus licensed to carry 15. On May 20, McPherson was reportedly transporting 24 students along with an adult female in a 15-seater minibus when he failed to negotiate a corner at Black Hill in the parish. The bus reportedly flipped 3 times before plunging over a precipice. The students were rushed to hospital, but 13-year-old Pranjal Jasti, that's the young man on the screen, an 8th grade student of Titchfield High School, was pronounced dead. So McPherson is booked to reappear in the Port Antonio Resident Magistrate Court on September 11 to answer to the charges. So this man was prosecuted a week prior for transporting 27 students in a 15-seater bus, almost double the capacity of the bus. And a week later, he was caught red-handed transporting 24 in said 15-seater bus. Obviously, the bus was overloaded. Obviously, he was probably speeding. And obviously, he will now have to face the consequences. Sad. Ah, boy. Just give me a reason. So, peeps, last night, when I came home yesterday, I was about to do a video. Zane, and the video involved the graphics for the picture are kind of low still, resolution low. The video involved a bizarre situation that would have occurred in the Dunrobin area of St. Andrew yesterday. And the reason why I did not complete the video, because I did the voiceover and was started to edit the video. But when I really look at the video, for some strange reason, it dawned on me that this might be a situation where the video might not make no money and I might receive a possible community guideline strike, where it means I can't go stream. That makes no sense to me. Because of the nature of the video. It might not have been as bad, but I decide to not do it. And it's always better to follow your instinct. The genius for the DJ Soldier Kids. What go on, family? Zane, why am I saying kids? Really and truly appreciate the support. The man said the killings in Jamaica sickening. No one is exempted. Boy, I don't know if you tell you, brother. I need even start talking about the death announcement them for tonight, bro. Hold on there. Hold on. Don't move. So, peeps, a windscreen wiper was shot by a motorist along Dunrobin Avenue. After the windscreen wiper was shot by said motorist, another motorist shot the motorist was shot the windscreen wiper. Cause you are going there dance, you know. So it was a dramatic scene along Dunrobin Avenue in St. Andrew yesterday morning when a windscreen wiper was shot and injured by a motorist. I'm assuming the motorist is a motorcyclist. I could be wrong though. Zane, so that motorist was reportedly challenged by a licensed firearm holder who opened fire shooting him. God favored me, so politicians are exempted. Not in the full extent. I see them shoot up one council van recently. Some local things. Yeah, sir. Some local things. So I guess the big politicians them are probably correctly, as you say, exempted. I don't know. Watch out now, please. So the police report that about 7 a.m. 7 o'clock in the morning, the windscreen wiper and the motorist got involved in an argument. I don't know if they did try to wipe the bike screen. I don't know, because I assume it's a bike. Because I see the brother will get shot away with a helmet. So a man who drive a car and really driving a helmet unless it's a race car in my drive. So that is why I theorize that it might have been a motorcyclist. So you know, during the course of the argument between said motorist and said windscreen wiper, the windscreen wiper them more time we make you do them things. Some of them, you know, are the honest truth. You understand? Some of them we make you hurt them like you have to strong. Zane? But why would I do it? The driver reportedly pulled a gun and opened fire, hitting the windscreen wiper. On seeing what happened, a licensed firearm holder who was nearby reportedly sought to intervene. There was an alleged confrontation between the two. Two men with gun, you know. Zin, the licensed firearm holder reportedly shot the motorist. I guess he felt threatened. because he intervened with a man who have a gun, so I go feel threatened. I don't know. He reportedly called the police to the scene. On their arrival, the injured men were taken to hospital. See? Soldiers say, so wait. Them shoot the shooter, yeah. Yes, family. On their arrival, yeah. So a pump attendant at a nearby gas station was also injured during the shooting. So him receive a grace for the man. You understand? So basically what go on now, the windscreen wiper is said to be in critical but stable condition, and the motorist admitted under police guard. You know why the motorist has been admitted under police guard? Because the gun where him used to shoot the windscreen wiper was unlicensed. So in other words, it was an illegal firearm. So I am sure then that he will possibly be charged with shooting with intent, probably even attempted murder, illegal possession of firearm, and illegal possession of ammunition. Jamaica to rotted. Bucky Marshall shot dead. Not the Bucky Marshall will come to the man. That man has been. Was he an unlicensed holder? Well, basic. Well, them say the gun no license answer, so it must be an illegal firearm. Right? No license illegal. See? Teacher, I understand that the bike man went for him. They are from the same area. Oh, I understand when I say looks like everybody in Jamaica have gone Rastafari. Oh. Well, the windscreen wiper never have none the genius. Cause then the thing would really interested. No. You have to take bad things with joke about that. Why we don't do it. Top marks are good for him. So as somebody has said, the windscreen wiper would have known the biker because them hail from the same area and look like a little thing and go on. So him go film at 7 o'clock in the morning. You see? And thing. Bucky Marshall shot dead in Maxwell Avenue, Kingston. So another murder has been recorded in Maxwell Avenue. See, I think I have a local thing from down at Maxwell there in relation to that local shooting there. So I tap it up so people can see what I go on. No, it's the wrong picture. Teach, come on, man, focus. You understand? And stop move like a windscreen wiper. So, peeps, Bucky Marshall, 29-year-old Roger Shaw, who is also known as Bucky Marshall. Bucky Marshall, no partial. Shaw was attacked and shot to death at his home on Wednesday, the 12th of June. So the Denham Town Police report that about 12:45 a.m. Shaw was at his home when a gang of armed men invaded the premises. Without hesitation, the men reportedly fired a volley of shots at Shaw. Saying he was hit multiple times all over his body and was pronounced dead on arrival at hospital. So the police reported that a section of Maxfield Avenue has been under the gun as rival factions lock horns, and Shaw's death is being investigated as part of an ongoing feud. Bucky Marshall. So you know, peeps, you know, normally from time to time I do a one video detailing a number of the teenagers missing, who would have been reported missing in Jamaica. See, and I want to do them videos there. It can be emotional sometimes, an emotional journey, because as a man who is the father of a daughter, you can imagine what you would feel if your child goes missing. But many instances, when these girls return home, you don't hear under what kind of circumstances they were missing. You don't hear what them did there. But many a times you also hear some little words from people close to the situation saying that they were at a friend's house. When you dig and find out, so the friend was probably a male. Sometime a female, and sometime a school friend, but sometime a male. So the long and short of the story is that many females were reported missing run away from them yard, got man yard. You understand what I say? That's the reality we face. Case in point. Missing teen girl found at home where gun was recovered in St. James. No police no live there. No soldier no live there. No licensed firearm holder no live there. What she a do there? A teenager who reportedly went missing from her home in Old Harbour, St. Catherine in April of this year was one of 4 persons who were arrested in connection with the seizure of a firearm in New Ramble District, St. James, on Monday, the 10th of June. Old Harbour, you know, and she there St. James. The 15-year-old girl, whose identity the police said is being withheld at this time, was reportedly found at a house in the community where the police and military personnel conducted an operation at about 7 a.m. 3 other persons, all males. So this young lady, 15 years old, who was reported missing, who is probably being searched for tirelessly by her family, who would probably be experiencing the most traumatic of times since April in search of her, is found at a house with 3 males and an illegal gun. And it's good as one of them girls that when me report say missing, you know, I would be pissed. May I tell you the truth? And we know sometimes girls are tricked and lured from their homes and things. But you know, for some strange reason, I don't feel like this girl was kidnapped or anything like that. I figure she probably left off her own volition. I could be wrong. So, 3 other persons, all males, were also arrested during the operation that resulted in the seizure of an Intratec submachine gun and 3 9mm rounds of ammunition. See? No, they kidnapped her. Sean Clou, are you confirming that she was kidnapped, or are you theorizing or assuming that she was kidnapped? The 4 remain in police custody as investigation continues in the incident. 15-year-old missing from April. See? James wants to be an English one. You understand? Well, Sean Clou not responding. So I kind of wait for Sean Clou to give me a clue. You understand? But I don't get it. 5 held following gun find in Clarendon. So the police apprehended 5 men following the seizure of a firearm and 29 rounds of ammunition during an operation on Derby Terrace, Maypen in the parish on Monday. Reports are that about 4:30 p.m., lawmen went into the mentioned area and searched premises occupied by a group of men. See? 1 chrome 9mm Beretta pistol with a magazine and the mentioned rounds of ammunition were found. The identities of the men are being withheld pending further investigation. So 2 more guns off our street. Some, see? Whoa, that is civilian. What is a civilian doing with an Intratec? You understand? As Massacre say, Intratec where you like. I don't remember the song go still, but yeah, Massacre have one song where he says something about Intratec. So the Intratec where you lie faster than a sprinter. Yeah, Intratec where you lie faster than a sprinter. So the man them might use the Intratec to take where people lie faster than a sprinter. A joke couldn't take bad man thing for bust the cylinder, one in them head. Yo, boy, I tell you, dancehall music is a thing. You understand? It's a thing. So them find a gun on Clarendon there, but a pedal cyclist was gunned down in said parish. So hoodlums continued their bloodletting in Clarendon on Saturday night, when a pedal cyclist was shot dead in Yorktown in the parish. See? The deceased man has been identified as 40-year-old Garfield Matthews of Cherry Tree Lane in Clarendon. Cherry Tree Lane. See? Police reports at about 8:10 p.m. Matthews was riding his bicycle when he was approached by a gunman who opened fire on him. The police were alerted and the wounded man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. So the police are probing the killing, which came on the heels of a series of heinous crimes in the parish, including another one reportedly on the same day. See? Before that, on Monday, June the 3rd, 66-year-old Patricia Harriet, a higgler of Cornpeace district in Hayes, was shot and killed during a brazen daylight attack in Maypen, Clarendon. So we'll talk about that Sunday still. Zane, so we could talk about some more things. So reports are that she was shot and killed by unknown assailants at the intersection of Main Street and Brooks Avenue in the town centre. Yeah, beautiful name for true, Eli Kelly. That's why I'm there repeat it. Cherry Tree Lane. So the Maypen police reported that about 5:20 p.m. Harriet was sitting at her stall when she was pounced upon by a man armed with a gun, who shot her several times before escaping. See? 3 days prior to her death, another senior citizen, 66-year-old Timothy Benjamin of Lucky Valley District, also in Clarendon, was found with his throat slashed on a roadway in his community near his home. The police reported that on Friday, May 31st at about 5 p.m., a resident stumbled upon the body and alerted the police. So May was a bloody month for the parish, and over a 2 weeks period, towards the end of the month, close to 10 persons were murdered in Clarendon. So among those casualties was Nancy Summers, a Cuban national of New Harbour Village, St. Catherine, who was a nurse. She was stabbed to death, reportedly by an ambulance driver at a Hayes district in Clarendon on Wednesday, May 29. So the suspect in the case of her death was taken into custody by police. It's not clear if he has been charged since. 2 days before, business operators Mark Miles, 59, and Debbie Heyman, 40, were attacked and shot to death at their business establishment in Yorktown again. On Friday, May 24th, Sean Cunningham, a 26-year-old tailor of Effortville, Clarendon, was shot dead at the Maypen bus park in the town centre. The police report that Cunningham was at a cook shop in the park when two gunmen attacked him and fired several shots. A woman who was also standing close by was also shot and injured. Plus, you know the robbery shootout situation. Clarendon. You understand? St. James hit by another murder. So one man was shot dead in the rural Dumfries community and another man shot and injured at the Charles Garden Market in Montego Bay on Tuesday as gunmen continue to defy the efforts of the security forces to bring order to St. James via the ongoing state of public emergency. So the latest killing brings us 6 to the number of persons murdered in St. James since the start of the year, while non-fatal shootings have surged past 60. So in the latest killing, 23-year-old Janarda Buckley, a labourer, as per usual, of Dumfries, was found dead inside an abandoned shop in the community shortly after 6 a.m. with multiple gunshot wounds. He was last seen alive by his sister about 11 p.m. on Monday. So Dumfries, which was once a quiet community, has been rocked by a number of murders in recent times as lottery scamming has taken hold in the community. Man, they don't want to work, leading to the formation of gangs and a subsequent battle for turf. You understand? So the incident now in the Charles Garden Market, which occurred shortly after 8 a.m., a male vendor was standing at a section of the market known as Train Line when he was accosted by 2 men armed with handguns. The vendor ran but was chased by the men who fired several shots at him. The vendor, who was hit, fell near the entrance of the market. He was rushed to hospital by a police military patrol, which responded to the shooting. 2 motor vehicles were hit by bullets, shattering the windscreen of the vehicles and the door of the other. Everybody have to run. Vendors run left them stall. People run left them basket. People run left them car. And people all drop them money and run, said a vendor who witnessed the incident. This is a bit of a breaking news situation where a double murder would have occurred in Spanish Town. There's a video that's being shared. I do not know if it is the same situation. So there was a double murder in Wellington Street in Spanish Town on Friday. At the moment, details are sketchy. You understand? But the CCU, which is the Corporate Communications Unit of the Constabulary, has confirmed the incident and said that it would have occurred about noon. So we are waiting and see what's going on with that. Now, peeps, I did have this lady picture, you know. But then now, if I find it, I can't even go share it where I fill up the screen. But many recent streams I would have spoken about men killing family members. Yeah? Generally, it is sons killing fathers. Brothers killing brothers. But here comes a story where a Jamaican man, for whatever reason, decided that his grandmother was the person who would face his wrath. No, as a boy growing up in rural Jamaica, I was grown for a large part of my early life by my grandmother, Miss Lou. Call her Marlo. She was a woman who you just don't disrespect. You understand? You know, as boys, that was me and my cousin, Sheldon, may his soul rest in peace. As boys, growing up, you know, we were boys, and boys will be boys, as they say. Yeah? And we'll give a grandmother a little trouble from time to time. But there was never a moment where we would actively seek to disrespect or hurt our grandmother. It just never possible. Everybody me know love their grandmother. Except this brother here. You understand? Me I try to work out a little picture in one little thing for you to say grandma. Yeah? This man decides say his grandmother has to die. See? I'm going to share with you now him killing grandmother. You understand? I just have to put granny on the screen, you know. I don't work out a little thing with her. See? Boom. That's grandma. Yeah? St. James man charged for killing his grandmother. Detectives attached to the Freeport police station in Montego Bay, St. James, have now arrested and charged a man in connection with the murder of 74-year-old Evelyn Blair, otherwise called Miss Daughter, who was burnt to death in Lima district on the 25th of May. This is the man's grandmother. So if this man can burn Fim grandmother alive, what would this man do to my grandmother? Face was picked up in Lima last Saturday and placed before an identification parade on Saturday, June 8th, where he was pointed out by an eyewitness who allegedly saw him set Blair on fire. He was charged with murder on Sunday. The elderly woman, who many remembered as a prayer warrior, succumbed to severe burns at the Cornwall Regional Hospital after she was doused with gasoline and set on fire by a male. The man allegedly, and he not done it well and then peeps. The man allegedly attempted to rape her at her one-room board dwelling house earlier that morning. Me I wanted the same thing in the watcher. Me I wanted the same thing, bro. Zine? But me not hear nothing like that. Yeah. You understand? The man allegedly attempted to rape her at her one boardroom dwelling house earlier that morning. Reports are that shortly after 3 a.m. on Thursday, the 25th of May, Blair was at her home when she was allegedly attacked by Facey, who attempted to rape her. She managed to fight off her attacker with a machete and he ran from the house. Well done, grandma. Big up yourself. The grandmother then telephoned her daughter and told her about the incident. Not really sure why grandma live alone still, but that's the next story for your next time. You understand what I say? Later that morning, while walking along the roadway, she was attacked by a man who poured gasoline over her body and set her on fire. She walk along the road and she was doused with gasoline and set on fire. Apparently, because she probably could have identified the person who tried to rape her, and said person might have realized that and come back to ensure that she can never speak about it. The daughter, who heard her mother crying for help, grabbed a bucket of water and threw it on her. The elderly woman was then assisted to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where she died a day later. I'm going to let that hang for a little bit and sit with you. Kind of really sit so well with me. You understand? Can you imagine a man, just a regular man, trying to rape a 74-year-old woman? And to find out that that man is the 74-year-old woman's grandson. Not a stranger, you know. Grandson. No, you tell me. Yo. Then, after his attempt to rape the elderly woman failed, he decided that the next best course of action was to set her on fire. No, I don't understand. We really and truly don't understand people. So if somebody can, the watcher say he must mentally ill cause you can't sensible and do that. Brother, boy, I not even know if I tell you say. I tell you the truth. See? Me I tell you the truth, family. Jamaica to rat it. The man tried raping grandmother, allegedly, and then after the rape failed and granny rushed him with a cutlass, the man circled back, setting grandmother upon fire, leave her to die. Why? I don't know. But see, there, I try buy my time, you know, because I try do all the next thing, so. You know what I think? Work, yeah, work. The lights of the world gone mad. Social media has also contributed to the degradation. Him man deal with Miss Daughter, waste her. Nah, lie, family. How can you try to rape your godmother? Sisters murdered in Duhaney Park. So detectives from the St. Andrew South Police Division are trying to piece together evidence in a double murder in Duhaney Park, St. Andrew. So far, no motive has been determined for the slaying. So residents reported that two men purporting to work with a utility company were granted access to the rented house the women shared. Not long afterwards, the men were seen running from the home. So it is understood that the men were dressed in white helmets and khaki. They drove up to the house and proceeded to call one of the women by name, telling them that they were there to fix a leak. It was then that one of the women came out and opened the gate for the two men. After that, the next thing I hear is that them over there dead. An 8-year-old girl, who is the daughter of one of the women, subsequently ran from the house screaming. So a search of the premises revealed that the two women were shot in one of the bedrooms. A police source said that a pillow was used to muffle the gunfire. So the double murder now brings to 77 the number of homicides in St. Andrew South Police Division according to the police. So residents in the community say they knew little about the women as they had just moved into the Duhaney Park community from Clarendon 7 months prior. The police said that they will be doing all they can to find the identity of the woman, while at the same time they are carrying out intensive investigations into the latest murders. So based on some of the dynamics, you have to wonder a few things. Why nice still there above me head, fam? See? And that now I get rid of it. I don't know the situation. Probably bright too bright. I don't know. Yeah. Work and so on. Yes, the watcher. So the Empress here from Clarendon, you know. These girls are. You know them? You know them? Auntie. So two being sought for murder. So the police in Trelawney have listed the names. Oh, let me get rid of them two, Empress, you know. Condolences to family and friends. I don't know what happened to the little daughter, you know, would have probably witnessed that. So the police in Trelawney have listed the names of two more men who they say are the two main persons of interest in the murder of a man in the parish a week ago. So one man has been identified as Omar Brissett. No pictures are available. Well, me no find none. Of Campbell's district in Clarkstown, Trelawney, while the other is only known as Juby. The police say Brissett, who is believed to be about 40 years old, is being sought for the murder of Nicholas Horton, otherwise called Bada Bada, which took place on May the 16th in Clarkstown. So investigators say both men frequent Campbell's district and Kinloss and Cockburn Pen. So police warn them like, yeah, son. So now, peeps, in recent times, we would have had discussions here about lawyers who would have been disbarred or arrested for fraud. Like Auntie Jennifer. A long time I hear nothing about Auntie Jennifer. I hope she in good health because she have some court dates coming up, you know what I mean? And thing. But listen to this story now, peeps. And you see, I am against crime and violence, essentially. But the reality that we face, especially in Jamaica, is that people can't stop dead, you know. In Jamaica, we face a situation where people cannot stop dying because you have some people who run some serious risk with them life. No, listen to this. Fraud accused attorney door for court on June the 20th. Less than a year after her husband was slapped with fraud-related charges, attorney at law Kadeen Dixon, has been charged with demanding property, obtaining money, or demanding property and obtaining money under false pretense and conspiracy. See? Let me search a look at things. You understand? Computer move slow, you know. I don't know. That no good. You understand? Can't find a picture with her cards right now. No problem. Yeah. But did I look for a picture with Miss Dixon, but I not find her. You understand? So she has been charged with demanding property, obtaining money under false pretense, and the conspiracy. According to a release from the Jamaica Constabulary Force Corporate Communications Unit, Dixon was arrested at her office in Kingston on Thursday in relation to a probe into fraudulent transactions. Into fraudulent transactions involving a property in Harmony Hall, St. Mary. She was offered bail in the sum of $400,000. You know a funny thing? All of these attorneys who have been charged with fraud have been granted bail. Her husband, Jerome Dixon, was last year arrested and charged by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. See, give me a minute, the piece. I'm going to try focus. See? By the Jamaica Constabulary Force Fraud Squad for forgery. Listen there. Her husband was charged last year by the Fraud Squad for forgery, 1, uttering forged documents and demanding property with forged documents in relation to the same St. Mary property. He has since been struck from the role of attorneys allowed to practice in Jamaica. So, yeah man, you see the Manchester thing, I wrap my head around it, you know. But I promise I'm going to discuss it Sunday, Alidan. I know about the situation, man. I've been a track it, but I have not had the time to really sit down and be comfortable with the information as yet enough to discuss it. I'm not really sure what I'm going. I might make mention of it tonight though. Later in the stream. Zin? You know what I mean? Alright. So the attorney has been struck. So that is the husband has been struck from the role of attorneys who are able to practice in Jamaica. Listen now, peeps. Reports are that on March 23rd, 2018, he lodged an instrument to transfer documents and a court order with the National Land Agency with information giving directives for a property to be transferred to one of his clients. Investigations reveal that the court order purportedly signed by a Supreme Court judge, the instrument of transfer document purportedly signed by a Supreme Court registrar, and another document bearing the apparent signature of a Justice of the Peace for Kingston were forged. The couple are scheduled to appear before the St. Andrew Parish Court on June 20. Now listen to this now, peeps, and this is the part of the story where I tell you, you know, you have some lawyers in Jamaica. Don't remember say them defend some hardened criminals, and many of them hardened criminals that still live in our country. Listen to this now, peeps. Kadeen Dixon was last October accused by a woman who has been living with HIV since September of 2007. I'm going to read that again. Kadeen Dixon, attorney at law. Same Kadeen Dixon, who for her husband has been struck from the Jamaica Bar Association and who has been charged for demanding property, forging documents, and all of them. Listen to this. Kadeen Dixon was last October accused by a woman who has been living with HIV since September of 2007 for not paying over an interim sum of $10 million out of $39 million that had been awarded to her by the court. So this lady who is living with HIV, as bad as it is, this lawyer decides say she gonna add some more sorrow to this lady life, where out of the $30 million that she was awarded by the court, I'm soon tell you why she was awarded, a $10 million initial payment should have been made to her account, but it was not. And the lawyer dealing with said transaction is no other than Kadeen Dixon. The woman who at the time requested that her name not be used said she was stuck in her buttocks with a needle by an HIV/AIDS patient on a ward in a Kingston hospital. This is how this lady contracted HIV. So she was a nurse or a doctor, I'm not sure, at a hospital in Kingston, and she was dealing with an HIV patient who used a needle that was used on the patient, on him, the patient, to stick the woman in her buttocks. The attorney later confirmed that she had in fact received the $10 million interim payment, but said that there was an issue as a result of an oversight and miscommunication where the transaction was concerned. I'll read that again. The attorney later confirmed that she had in fact received the $10 million that should be paid to the HIV victim, but said that there was an issue as a result of an oversight and miscommunication where the transaction was concerned. A sum of $4.5 million was eventually deposited into the woman's account, followed by a check valued at $300,000. So that the $10 million of the perceived $39 million that was initially paid over, the woman only received what? $4.7 million, $4.8 million. So where is the other $5.2 million? So peace, before I wrap up, cause I'm hungry, you know, cause I come home, go and sleep, I'm gonna eat, but hungry, so I don't expect me to sit down and chat the whole night. And at night I come. But I share some things with you know. Before. I know my peeps, you know, yeah, I take care of you, like. I couldn't know what go on in the yard. Peeps. I shouldn't share a story from earlier, but I didn't get around to it yet. Boom. I suppose we'll be talking about Miss Kadeen Dixon in the future. So, this picture is of 3 persons who were fatally shot along Harvey Road in Kingston a day or 2 ago. And I had planned to share this story immediately after the older 15-year-old who was reported missing and was found in a house with 3 men in St. James. Teen among 3 murdered during home invasion along Harvey Road in Kingston. Yeah? So the teen, dead, are 20-year-old Igla Tajay Dunbar. Tajay Dunbar is the fellow in the glasses. He is also the nephew of the hombre with the green headphone. So Tajay Dunbar in the glasses was 20-year-old. He was an Igla. That was his occupation. Nothing wrong with that something. Alright. The brother in the grey shirt with the plait up ear and the green headphone is the uncle of Tajay Dunbar. He is 23-year-old Neville Lewis, who is believed to be a sideman. Yeah? The Empress in the middle is 16-year-old Jodie and Dare. She was shot and killed in the same house where these two men were shot and killed. 16-year-old. It is being alleged by family members of Miss Dare that the hombre with the green headphone, 23-year-old sideman, was the boyfriend of 16-year-old Jodie and Dare, and 16-year-old Jodie and Dare was living with 23-year-old sideman Neville Lewis. Oh dear. Yeah, sideman means I'm work on one chuck, Jadi. He means a sideman on the chuck. You understand? No. Yes. It was a gruesome crime. Yes. 4 persons were shot. Another female was also shot. So apparently the other female is a girlfriend of Tajay Dunbar. So it was a couple situation. Why though was a 16-year-old living with a 23-year-old man? And we not ignore the fact that 3 persons were murdered. But we are here to ask the pertinent questions. The question where some people afraid to ask. Really? You understand what I say? And me ask it. Why is a 16-year-old girl living with a 23-year-old man? Yes, she is 16, and by laws, the age of consent is 16. But was she just living with this fellow since she turned 16? I don't know, but that's a ask. Her past is really one of challenges. So Dare, who is a student of the St. Patrick's Foundation in Seaview Gardens, was said to have been picking up the pieces of her life following the death of her mother 5 years ago. Reports are that she has also spent some time in a children's home. So residents are speculating that the shooting incident, well, that shooting is related to an incident that would have occurred in the community a few weeks ago, where a teenage girl was shot and injured. However, detectives are theorizing that the incident is gang related. That's the long and short of the story. You feel me? Yeah. Condolences to the family and friends of the deceased persons though and stuff. Whoa, that's a lot of nice that thing. I need to sort out this. This is a bit distracting. Zane? No, I am not debating whether or not there's a crime in relation to the 16-year-old. It's just that at 16 years old, you're still supposed to be living with your parents. So fine, her mother died. Where's the father? Where are the aunties and uncles or the grandparents? That is what me I get at hard and thoughts. You understand what I say? So I know there's no crime there. As I said, she's 16 and that is the age of consent. You know, I'm a teacher of social studies as well as geography. So we know them things there. So when I say there's a crime there, I'm asking morally, Zane, why is a 16-year-old girl living with a man, essentially? Where is her family? That is the question I may ask. Good intention say the sad news enough. Boy, family, I wish we did have some positive news, but we don't really choose the stories. We just share the things that we have in the country for the people them on their ground, when they're on the ground. Because most of the persons who watch the stream are watching from the diaspora. You understand? And them want to know what go on from a reliable and factual source. You know what I think? Zane? So that are the questions I may ask hard and tax. So I hope you understand the perspective. You feel me? So let me deal with this story, then me wrap up the stream with 2 stories. Uncle Ruel, big up yourself in a family. We have all a reason and a few. I know you watch. I will take bad things, bet joke it up. Babes. Mama P, Sister P, Portia Simpson Lucretia Miller has gone on record to say that she does not want her name or her image to be used. See, you know me I preset at the light. I need to set the light properly. Our image should be used in the current or the why light a flicker.